Ed gave me a free sample of his new blue lift rod cover. It's got this weird sticker on it though. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it looks pretty durable. Yeah, no, I'm sure it's good stuff. Need to grab my stick-up lights out of my backpack and maybe an extra dose of patience. We diagnosed this Pinsetter on Thanksgiving as having a bad 4-to-1. Although the teeth inside on that worm wheel are a little bit chewed up, they're not totally destroyed. And I got in here and looked a little closer, and there's a huge puddle of oil on the pit board. So we've got a gearbox leak coming from the gearbox somewhere in there. We're gonna go ahead and tighten any loose screws and see what we can do, but I'd hate to swap out that 4-to-1 and just fill it full of oil and then have it bleed out again after I leave without doing something. We may not even need a 4-to-1 in there. Yeah, the teeth are a little pitted, but it wasn't the carnage that I thought it was going to be when I took a look at it real quick on Thanksgiving. So if we look at, we've got oil coming down the curtain, we've got gearbox oil puddling up on the pit mat. And it's a little dark up there, but it looks like maybe we've got some loose screws on the 4-to-1 housing. Not the 4-to-1, the 1-to-1 housing for our gearbox 1-to-1 assembly. So I'm going to get in there and tighten them up, see if that helps. Hopefully it does. Can you guys see up in there okay? Maybe. These bolts on the 1-to-1 plate are working loose, so that one's custom. I did not do that, but it was loose. This one's loose. I have a chopped down 1/4 inch Allen that might be good to use in some of these harder to reach places, but this is looking good. This is a little bit better than expected. If it's just a gearbox leak and the 1-to-1s come loose, we can probably just tighten it up and be okay. I hope, fingers crossed, right? So I've got all of our 1-to-1 cover bolts are tightened up. We're going to go through and check all the 4-to-1 cover bolts too, because those a little bit of drip coming on the bottom right there, so those might be a little bit loose too. Okay, 4-to-1 cover plate bolts are all tightened up. That all looks good. Let's fill it with some oil and we'll run it. We've got an old 4-to-1 here that I pulled out a while ago. The teeth on here are shot. This is the one we did in the other 1-to-1 video way back when that music was playing and it got copyrighted and all that, but I thought that 1-to-1 out there was bad, so I had them order another bronze gear. What we're gonna do, we're gonna rebuild this, and this is going to become their good spare, so that in the future they've got an assembly ready to go. And it's going to limit their downtime. Unfortunately, somebody has replaced the 12-ton ram in this Harbor Freight press with a 4-ton. I'm not sure that's going to work. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this with me. And when I get back to normal work, we're going to do this. We're going to do this rebuild in my workshop. So let's drain the oil out of it, well, what little is left in it, and then we'll refill it with spec amount. Well, not spec amount. I do 1 quart. It's supposed to be like 1 point something quarts. I don't remember. But 1 quart's usually pretty damn good. Yeah, she lives, huh? Look at that. Stopping a little late, but that's a whole different story. Oops. I didn't even notice the other side. Oh boy, this thing is... Yeah. Alright, well, project number 2 for the day. Yeah, that's all done. We got her all back together. Looking good. On to the next thing. I don't think these are meant for indoor use. You might end up falling asleep and never waking up if you're using one of these to heat your shop. Note on the board for this one is pins falling out of the turret and piling up in the moving deck. So let's turn it on, let's cycle it a few times, let's see what we can find out. There's no rear on switch here. Hold on, we're gonna go grab a jumper, jump out B and C on the circuit box for manager's control. I'll be right back. I don't know. I'm not seeing anything yet. Let's second ball, cycle. Oh, we had a ball in the pit. Come on. There we go. Well, I mean, indexing seems to be okay. Nothing obvious. I mean, we'll check turret wires, make sure they're adjusted properly. We'll look and make sure the spoons are adjusted properly. You don't have anything that's loose. And we'll cycle it several more times and see if we can actually see it malfunction. I did cycle it through a few times. I didn't see anything really out of the norm, but the turret center chute needs to be tightened back down. We'll go grab some wrenches and tighten those bolts down on the flanges right in there. Perhaps I spoke too soon. We have an issue with this turret wire cap here. It's loose. The turret wires aren't seated in the proper position. That could pose an issue as well. So what's happened here is that the bolt for that turret wire clamp is too long. It's run out of threads. The bolt's long enough that it's not like an all thread bolt, so it ran out of threads, and so the nut's tight, but that bolt is pretty flippy floppy in there. You can get a better look at it here. The unthreaded section of this stud is larger than what that dimensional spec is. So they may have tightened the nut down as tight as it could go, but it wasn't enough to hold the turret wire clamp in place. So we're gonna have to go get a shorter bolt, probably a new nut, because they kind of ruined the threads when they bottomed it out. So yeah, back to the workshop. Okay, bolt's been swapped out with one of the appropriate length. Turret wires have been checked. Let's turn it back on. Let's see what happens. The 5-pin fell through and the spider didn't release. Let's look at this a little closer. We tightened the flange bolts on that turret center chute, and that changed our interlock probe adjustment. So it allowed the 5-pin to drop through the center chute without releasing pins from the spider. Interesting. So we're gonna go ahead. Oops, I accidentally hit stop when I shouldn't have. We're gonna go ahead and have to adjust that interlock probe down a little bit. That's a manual adjustment through bending. So pretty much what we're gonna do, we're just gonna take our arm and our weight, and we're going to bend it down a little bit, and then we'll retest. Looking good. I think that's going to do it for this one. Cool. Let's jump on to the next thing on the list. The note on the board about this one was getting a lot of 180 or waiting for pins to be delivered to the deck call. Let's stand up, zoom out. We are, fortunately enough, they left this at 180 for us. But the turret's holding pins, and the blocking finger is up. But the interlock probe, again, this is just like the last lane. The interlock probe needs to be bent down so that it clears under the raised blocking fingers. There you go. All right, another lane on the board. Also, notes has lots of 180 calls. The blocking fingers appear to be up. The spider has released the pins into the moving deck, but we're still at the number 5 indexing position. We didn't advance, so we need to see why we didn't advance. So our belt is moving, our turret clutch is moving. Get the torsion latch, focus. I'm having a hard time focusing here. Technical difficulties. The delay gear is not rotating. So we're gonna have to look in there a little closer. Pretty dirty in there too. They have debris that is preventing the gear from rotating. So I ended up taking the top belt off and worked the turret clutch backwards and then forwards. Now if I trip the latch, I can go all the way around. You see an index right there, and then it hit the stop block on the bottom side of the delay gear. So I think we're good here. Whatever foreign object got in there, it's been dislodged. Does this need a good cleaning? Yes, it does. Am I the one that's going to do it right now? No. I'm here to triage and get a lot of these machines up and running. So that's my main focus. There you go. Okay, next thing on the list. Ball's getting stuck in the power lift. Here. We discovered a broken section of C-track liner, so they've got some new ones here. We're gonna go ahead and swap that out. Yeah, next lane's a broken number 9 scissor. Oh yeah, rivet failure. So let's look at this turret indexing cam. This is gonna be our last Pinsetter issue for the day, but this is the number 5 position. And we're starting to get a groove worn in this uphill slant. And I know that, you know, a lot of people are going to say when you've got indexing issues, you're going to put more tension on the belt. Well, that's not going to help if your indexing cam's kind of messed up. What we're going to do, we're going to grab a half-round file. And we're going to file this top edge right here. Because it's actually kind of, well, let me zoom out. It's kind of like C-shaped a little bit if we look at it real close. And the roller can't get uphill over that curve. It's kind of like trapping it in there. I've started filing this a little bit, and you can see where the groove is. Over the years, it's just worn down. And so I guess the determination, what you can use to gauge this amount of wear, is when it indexes the 5-pin. I saw the, let's pretend that this is the our latch for our indexing stop roller. That latch moved away, but the stop roller didn't lift out of that cam dwell. And it's got plenty of belt tension. There's a lot of pull on this turret. So we know that it's not a belt issue, it's not a drive issue. Ah, oh no, we're blurry again. Focus, please. The condition of that cam lobe is out of spec, and it's actually trapping the roller because it's so concave in there. Watch that latch open now. Yeah, there you go. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, we're all done here.